Hi, my name is Steve McPeak. I am originally from the Diocese of Hawaii and now the priest in charge at the Church of Christ the King in Frankfurt, Germany. I am also the chair of the Convocations Task Force on Racism, Reconciliation, and Beloved Community. Last year at our convention in Geneva, Bishop Mark Eddington issued a passionate call to our convocation to be involved in different areas, including the area of racism. And his call was that we would look at and address and grapple with the issue of racism in the European context. Following up with that was a resolution that was passed where we decided to thoughtfully address the sin of racism in the European context and to make this theme the main theme of this year's convention. A task force was put together that is comprised of an amazing and diverse group of people. Scholastique, originally from Burundi, who is a member of our missions in Mons, Belgium. Haswell, who is originally from Malawi and is a member of St. James Episcopal Church in Florence. Zaza from South Africa originally and a member of Emmanuel Church in Geneva, Switzerland. David, originally from Guyana and a member of the Church of the Ascension in Munich, Germany. Allison, originally from the USA and a member of the American Cathedral of the Holy Spirit in Paris. Reverend Mary, who is our liaison from the Council of Advice, originally from Canada, of Lebanese ancestry, and our resource person who has been helpful with translation into French as well as the development of our survey, and that is Reverend Stephanie, who is originally from France and is currently at St. James in Florence. So this amazingly gifted group of people has been working over the last year and delving into the issue of racism in the European context. And it has been very intense and very challenging. We have met 14 times working on the things that were assigned to us. And it has become very clear to us that this topic is extremely important and extremely big. It is a big topic. It is being addressed on 3 levels. First of all, it has affected us all personally. Most of us in the task force are people of color and have children who are confronted with the issue of racism in their personal lives. Secondly, it's dealing with the issue on the level of our Episcopal Church, which has deep roots and has been incredibly complicit in the whole issue of slaveholding and white supremacy in the past. And the third level is dealing with and looking at and grappling with the situation with racism in the different countries in which the convocation works and our members live. I've been a strong voice on the task force that we need to look at European racism. But what became clear to me is that we cannot move forward until we address our own issues internally. And that's why some of these topics are being addressed. So what is the vision? The vision is a vibrant church of diverse and inclusive congregations and missions where everyone has a place at the table equally. This mirrors our baptismal covenant where we commit to seek and serve Christ in all persons, loving our neighbors as ourselves. And it is shocking that we have gone for generations in our church and not been true to this one part of our baptismal covenant. And so our dream and our vision is that we would find our way back to that fully and live as beloved community so that we can be a light and an example to the societies in which we live. We have made this to the main theme of our convention this year and invited speakers who you will really benefit from. Dr. Catherine Meeks, the Executive Director of the Absalom Jones Center for Racial Healing, will be our first keynote speaker. We will have a panel that addresses European racism, made up of 3 riveting speakers. Mother Yehide Peters, an African-American priest working in England. Dr. Michael Privot, the director of the European Network Against Racism, who is very, very involved with this organization in very practical ways. And Dr. Thomas Schirmacher, one of the leading German theologians when it comes to racism and rights of those who are in minority groups in Europe. And then we have Bishop Dion Johnson, newly elected in the Diocese of Missouri, who drafted a covenant that we have used and modified to fit our European context. He will close up our session with a keynote address to our convention. Bishop Mark Eddington will offer some closing thoughts and words and a prayer after this very challenging session. We have a couple of things that we have prepared for you and we hope will benefit you in the future. One of them is a survey which we will be inviting you to take and to take home with you to your churches and encourage people to complete the survey so that we can find out who we really are in the convocation, that we can find out what our people have experienced, both good and difficult, and also find out what our people need when it comes to training in the area of racism. Secondly, we have a repository of a wealth of resources that will help you in your own search for truth and increasing your awareness on this topic. It will be housed on the website of the convocation, and it will be continually expanded to include resources from the different countries that we work and live in. We continue to collect sacred narratives, and we're hoping that our churches will create safe spaces for our people to share their stories. And then we have the covenant for dismantling racism, advancing racial justice, and building beloved community in Europe. In a resolution that we are proposing, we are calling the convocation to do 2 things. Number 1, to establish an organizational entity to continue the important work of this task force. And secondly, that we would adopt this covenant that we will be introducing to you at convention. I hope to see many of you there and look forward to engaging with you in the future. God bless you.